Welcome to the Manager Lab, where we delve into the increasingly dynamic world of talent management. In each episode, we will unravel key insights, break down the most relevant books and articles, and provide actionable tips to optimize your approach in developing and retaining top talent. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the art, science, and strategy of unlocking your team's full potential. Let's enter the Manager Lab. Hello, thanks for tuning in today. Welcome to the Manager Lab. This is a podcast for managers who don't have extra hours to spare, but still want to bring out the best in their team. I'm your host, Greg Gillum, and today we're diving into how you can be a great coach, even when you're busy. Based on Monique Valcour's HBR article, you'll hear the big idea, why it matters, and some concrete actions that you can start taking right now. So let's get started. So many managers believe that effective coaching requires setting aside long blocks of time, a formal, quote, coaching session in a quiet room. The author points out that this belief often holds managers back, especially when their calendars are already full. So the big idea here is that you don't need big chunks of time to coach well. In fact, the most impactful coaching happens in the moment, during the real flow of work, conversations, decisions, deadlines. In other words, shift your thinking from I'll coach when I can carve out an hour to I'll coach as I work with my people. And here's how the author breaks that down. She identifies several practices that make coaching efficient and effective. I'm going to walk you through three of the most important ones. Number one, practice strategic silence. One of the most powerful coaching tools costs almost no time at all, and that is staying quiet after asking a question. The moment you ask, for example, what do you think is really going on here? And instead of launching into your view, you pause, give that person space to think, reflect, and then speak. That silence invites deeper thinking and much greater ownership in your direct reports. So it's easy to slip into the trap of trying to fill in the gap, right? There's silence, pothole theory comes into play. You need to fill in the holes. Don't do it. Stay strategically silent. Number two, use a bridging structure. The author suggests a simple bridge that you can use in everyday conversations. Ask a question, give guidance if needed, and then ask how they'll implement it. For example, ask this: what's your take on this challenge? Here's one idea I had, but what do you think you might try? How will you move forward? When and how will you check back? This structure keeps the conversation grounded in the person's thinking and action rather than just your advice. And then third, focus on high-impact moments, not long sessions. So Valcour emphasizes that coaching doesn't always need its own meeting. The most meaningful development happens when you seize moments during the regular work hours, a project update, a decision point, maybe even a setback. So instead of waiting for coaching time, build your coaching mindset into your daily flow, your one-on-ones, your team huddles, quick check-ins, even, walk and talks, that kind of thing. So why does this matter? Why should busy managers care about this shift? Well, first of all, it's going to lead for better development for your people. Coaching builds capacity. You help team members become thinkers, not just executors. The author notes that coaching develops people and drives performance, but managers often feel like they lack the time to do it. Number two, it gives you greater leverage. You can multiply your impact by enabling others to solve problems, reflect, self-correct, rather than always doing the thinking for them. Third, more sustainable leadership. When coaching becomes part of how you lead, it becomes less of an extra and more of a flow. That means you're more likely to do it even amid busy schedules. And then finally, leads to stronger team culture. Over time, these micro coaching moments build a culture of learning, reflection, and autonomy, which helps adaptivity, performance, and engagement. All of those things builds a stronger team culture. All right, so let's make this practical. If you're a manager who's busy, but wants to start coaching more effectively today, here are 5 concrete actions that you can take. Number 1, pick one recurring meeting and add a coaching question. For example, in your next one-on-one, launch with this. What's the biggest decision you're facing this week and what you're thinking so far? Then pause. Let the person talk, reflect, avoid jumping in with your answer as we talked about before. Use that strategic silence. Number 2, use the bridge structure in a conversation. So the bridge is, just so you can visualize this, the bridge is your advice to getting to their solution. So you might ask, what's your take on this situation? Here's one idea I have. There's the bridge. And then what will you try and when will you check back? This helps the person move from reflection to action, and you help while making them the owner. Number 3, become alert for micro-coaching moments. When you overhear a team discussion or when someone says, I'm stuck, pause and say, well, quick question. What's one thing you could try differently? Then let them answer. It might take 2 or 3 minutes, but it's meaningful coaching in the moment. Number 4, practice being quiet after a question. For the next week, try this. After you ask your direct reports a question, count silently to 5 or longer if you need it before you speak again. You'll give their thinking space, and you'll likely hear deeper insights or even new ideas. It's simple but powerful. And then 5thly, schedule a coaching habit review once a month. Set aside 15 minutes to just reflect. What micro coaching moments did I have? Which ones felt more effective? Which didn't? What kept me from coaching more? Use that reflection to plan one small change for next month. For example, I will add a coaching question into each team huddle. Okay, so in closing, you don't need to carve out hour-long coaching sessions to lead like a coach. As Valcour shows us, you only need to shift the way you use your time, leveraging everyday interactions, asking strong questions, pausing, and then focusing on action. If you can build 1 or 2 of these habits into the next week, say asking a great question in your next one-on-one and then giving space for that reflection, you'll already be coaching in a more powerful way. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you found this helpful, share it with your fellow managers and try one of these tips this week. And until next time we meet in the Manager Lab, do good work.